Alright, folks, Season 3 has officially begun. At least, well, when the first race starts. Looking for a couple more experimental episodes as we get Season 3 underway, and be trying a different sort of way of doing the videos. And the first instance of this is the fact that we are not doing the typical pre-race, or pre-episode, like, pre-intro thing, using escape shots. We're here ahead of the first race of the episode, which, as you can see, will be a Dirt Division event here at Colorado Springs. And, yeah, I suppose because, we haven't had a dirt race in a few weeks. It's certainly an interesting way to kick off the season, but here we are. As I attempt to stop burping every 3 seconds, let us head into this first race here from Colorado Springs. No shit. The first race of Colorado Springs is in Colorado Springs. Duh. And now, Season 3 is officially underway. As we take the green flag here from Colorado Springs. POV driver is Valentina Amalfi as we head towards the first set of corners here. There are some debuting vehicles here. Chelsea West has converted her Jeep into a Dirt Division vehicle. As crazy as a concept as that thing is to me, and I'll still probably never get used to it. Our new changed vehicles, the first of which, with Jake Scarborough Racing moving to a Toyota manufacturer support, Damien Kotexa is taking full advantage of that fact and has traded in his F-150 for a new Toyota Tundra. Speaking of F-150, I bring one of my own to the table. For the first time, I finally have a Dirt Division vehicle. It's taken me, I suppose, long enough. And it is a slightly modified version of the vehicle I ran in the short-lived ARC Trophy Truck series. As Damien Kotexa gets all out of shape up ahead. And then the leader of the three new vehicles, new driver Yuki Utsuki, who I believe was considered to be about third or fourth best driver in the Hokkaido rallies. And as such, has teamed up with Sami Rantanen and everybody else on Diamond Pleiades Technica, a brand new team for this season, consisting of Sami Rantanen, Tetsuya Harada, Yo Watanabe, Chika Takami, and now Yuki Utsuki, which sounds like a frickin' fake name, I gotta be honest. Whilst I was busy tangenting about the new drivers, this is what happened to our POV driver that we're supposed to be looking at. Heads off the jump here and gets absolutely clobbered by the rally chicken, and for good measure gets smacked into by Colin Morris as well. And let loose the horns of frustration from Amalfi. About a half a lap or so later, and Amalfi is caught up to the field. Big sideways movement off that jump. The leaders of DPT aren't doing so hot, 17th and 18th, not a great look for them. But, I mean, other people are kind of picking up the slack, with Yuki in 5th, Yo in 8th, and Chika down in 12th. Amalfi is back in 19th still. She's had to play catch-up a little bit, and the fact that she even managed to do so at all is kind of surprising considering the hefty whack of this Mercedes A-Class took a minute ago. She gets a little forceful to get down the inside of Harada, and then outbreaks Rantanen with little issues. Oh, and even more physical with Amalfi getting a little pushy with Riho Futaba. That's a bold call to make considering you're pushing around a truck, out of all things, but I don't know if Riho really cares either. She's not the aggressive type. Gives the horn to Katamatsu, or maybe that's to Logan Cool. It's hard to be sure. I am now sure. Oh my god! Gives him the good old hockey-style shoulder check into the outside wall. And she carries on with her day. Logan will probably be a little bit peeved, no doubt. I'd call it getting even, because Logan's mistake was a little bit amateur. We're getting near the final hours of this race, as Uni gets a little pushy with Amalfi as well, and a little pushy with Thrasher for good measure. And the A44... well, that happened. Up, and she gives Uni a piece of her mind. And Uni gives it right back. Ay, caramba. Yep, I saw that coming. Another name added to Amalfi's hit list of the day. Oh, well, I mean, okay. Then a rejoin like that, I don't know, maybe he deserved it. Actually, no, she did deserve it. Fuck her. Yeah, thank you, Amalfi. Actually, fuck. To hell with her. We're kind of in the dying moments of the race now, just over a lap to go. The truck has worked great for me, by the way, if anybody was wondering. I suppose, considering this is basically a modified rally raid truck, it might be a little bit unfair. But, I didn't hear anybody complaining about it. Noir's trying to hold off Goteksa for a second. We'll see how that transpires. The time is certainly running out for our Mercedes friend here. Or enemy, however you look at it. I know how Logan probably looks at it right about now. Same with Uni. But it's not just everybody, because she passed Nico cleanly. Because Nico didn't run into her. It's amazing what happens when you drive with your brain inside your head instead of up your ass. There are a lot of Subarus. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. When you think rally, you think Subaru pretty often. Just noticed Noir never took the NFR windshield banner off. Whoa, hang on to it, Damien. And he will. And I will hang on to this first place. Viva me! Like I never left. It's hard to really say if Amalfi had enough speed to even get to the front if she wasn't caught up in two separate incidents. She'll head home in 8th place, just behind Watanabe. Very sideways, also forgot about Fidel Fabian and his new GR Corolla, which he has turned into a rally racer. So JSR finally has a second representative here in the Dirt Division. So that will do it for Race 1. And now we move on to Race 2. We are here ahead of Race 2 of the episode, which takes us to the Nürburgring GP course. The 675 class will deal with 4 laps here in a race that I honestly thought was going to get rained out. Or not rained out per se, but, you know, there was going to be rain, but I think we missed it by a matter of minutes. Obviously, I didn't really stick around to wait to see if it was going to rain. I had elsewhere to be, but I would be very surprised if it never rained around here at any point during the day. But it stayed dry on the track, which is all that really mattered in the grand scheme of things. So, let us then begin the second race. And race 2 begins. As we get off the starting grid here, we do have one vehicle that could not show up to the Challenge Series next event. And the only reason for that is just because that person had actually 3 new vehicles to debut, and only 2 races to debut them in. At the moment, we are on board with Charlotte Riel, winner of one of those 2 Challenge Series next events in her new CTR3. But for the time being, she's in what I guess we could probably call a CTR2. 993 Porsche. And there are oddly quite a few Porsches, but the most notable thing is Jake Scarborough's brand new McLaren 12C. Which is an interesting call, because this thing has been heavily down-tuned to even run here. This thing, for all intents and purposes, should be a 715 category racer. But it isn't, because Jake doesn't need one of those. He just got a Supra from his Toyota sponsorship with JSR. He, Matthew Stotts, and Fidel Fabian all received Toyota Supras as a result of that alliance. So this McLaren is all on his own accord. Riel is making swift progress at a track that's more her vehicle's home circuit than her own. Her actual home circuit would technically be Circuit de St. Croix, I believe. We don't really race there. Contractual things have been difficult for a lot of tracks in France. Le Mans just sort of has this weird, like, crown jewel stipulation. The race has to be something vaguely important, i.e. the season finale, but it's not going to play host to just some random race on a Tuesday, like this one. As we just watch Riel get ahead of fellow 993 driver Liza Kaiser. And speaking of, we got quite an interesting battle for the lead, or at least an upcoming one here between some old rivals. Stephanie Kaiser, who is quickly catching up to Francesca Ferranzi. And me basically holding the line for third place in my relatively underpowered NSX. I have to work on the setup of this thing, I tell you what. It did terribly at Challenge Series Next, and I'm hanging on to third right now. I think that's just because of comfort with the track, and the fact that my closest rivals aren't exactly powerhouses in a straight line either. Oh, camera. Riel looking at 6th, gets a bumper in there, and around the outside of the Salaryman driver of Kevin Bagstrom. About as quick and clean as you like it. John Garrison, as a result of him forming a new racing team called the Sam Squadron, has changed the design on his C2 Corvette. As Riel moves himself into the top 3 ahead of me. But back to the Sam Squadron. It is a team of, well, it was started by David Danvers, technically, but it had 5 drivers at the start. It's apparently just this whole friend group of military guys, including Garrison, Paul Valentine, Danvers, of course, Dante Wright, and Anatoly Pugachev. You can just see how underpowered my car is at full display right here. Fighting for my life, but I don't really know how much longer I can do that for. Too wide through the the second half of Sector 1. Big sideways moment both for Narashi and Michiko Taniguchi. That might get me back into third, but it would have been. Back into fourth, I should say, but it wasn't enough. Battle between Porsche drivers here. Riel's looking for second against Stephanie Kaiser, and that seemed oddly easy. If I didn't know any better, I would think that Stephanie let her by. Maybe slow down Fidanzi for her a bit. That's kind of some 4D chess. I don't really know if Stephanie works that way, per se. I don't think so. But Riel's taking, well, she's gonna take it and run. And by that I mean run after Francesca Fidanzi as we head up to Schumacher S's. Crossover, around the outside, better exit, and that's as clean as you like it too. Still not done yet though. Oh, Francesca turned Riel almost, but she still managed to hang on to the ride and secure the overtake and grab first place away from the Italian driver. Turn on her kind of hazards is sort of like a, hey, what are you doing? But ultimately, how much does it really matter when you have taken the race lead away? And then maybe immediately lost it because that was a really bad bounce over that curve. Francesca's gonna force the issue. She's gonna get a splitter there and force Riello to take a wide lane. Oh, they're nearly making contact as we head onto the final lap. This is gonna get close, and Stephanie Kaiser's right in the catbird seat. Testarossa outdrags the Porsche, so Riello moves to grab some slipstream. Oh, but Francesca feels the pressure. She makes a mistake of her own, and Riello slips back into the lead. Mr. Breaking Point, I think Riello was flashing the headlights too just to get in her head a bit. And it certainly has worked. Going forward with Francesca Fedonzi, see if she can maybe try and do something to get back at that Porsche, get back to the race lead. Or at the very least, keep that other one behind her. Well, whatever Francesca was trying to get back up to Riello, it's not really worked. As Charlotte has only one more corner left to make. Excuse me. And she will have claimed victory here at one of Porsche's many home circuits over the Italian threats of Fedonzi. Fellow Porsche Stephanie Kaiser will complete the podium, and Fedonzi will find herself in a Porsche sandwich. And I kind of pull up beside each other on the cooldown lap. No idea if that's just happenstance or if maybe there's a bit of a message being sent there. I'm not really certain. What I'm certain of is that does wrap things up for race 2 of the episode. I barely hang on to 5th back here. Jake right in the middle of the road with his debuting McLaren. I think he was just kind of caught in traffic. That whole battle from like basically 4th on back really made it hard for anybody to get anywhere. Believe me, I would know. I was there. Alright, the 3rd race is upon us, and we head to a very interesting venue. The 640 class will be participating in a race at Suzuka's East Circuit. It's been a while since we've used the East layout. Actually, it's kind of been a while since we've been to Suzuka, period, all things considered. Most of the time when we're looking for a track in Japan, we just kind of tend to default to Fuji, so... yeah. It's about time we kind of switch things up a little bit. I mean, obviously Fuji's not fucking going anywhere, I think we all know that, but... you know... variety is the spice of life. So, with that said, let's start partaking in some variety. And race 3 is underway as we see the four-wheel drive privilege getting Tyler McIntosh up to the 2nd position, looking possibly even for the lead with any luck, but he's not going to get it. Interesting thing, this is just a normal race on a Wednesday afternoon. Every car on the grid is Japanese though. I mean, I guess it's easier to get Japanese cars in Japan. And, you know, importing is probably much less of a hassle this way, but that's still just kind of weird. I mean, I contributed to it too, I'm in my 300Z, so... POV driver is Setsuko Kuro. She herself has recently become part of a brand new team that's just been created. Yep, that's what brand new means, Riker. In this context, the C1 Racing Project. And that's a lot of contact made with Kaminaga there. It was already on her way into the 5th anyway, so I can't... there we go. Lap 2 of 8. Still be looking at about an 8-minute race. That's a bold call, Kuro. Oh dear, there's no room for a Sylvia there. Ooh. Good thing she's done some drifting in her time. That's quite a save from the S14 driver. Although I still don't really understand why she felt the need to make that kind of overtake anyway, but yeah, I guess whatever gets you results. Do want to bring up a bit of a fuck-up that I made during the Challenge Series Next driver introductions. The information that I was given on the two new Sylvia drivers was a little bit typoed. I think whoever wrote it out for me probably was a little bit tired or something. Selena Laurent is trans. I believe I said that he was not binary before. Selena was not binary. And I messed that up. And, I'm still messing it up. And then Skylar Ilara in the S13 is the one that is non-binary in this matter. Not the other way around. Still not made abundantly clear to me if, well actually no, if it's a name like Selena, does that mean that they became a girl or became a man? No, that's a she. That must be a she, because I should know, for Milo, who's also trans, he changed his name when changing to become a man. Or a he, or whatever terminology. So, logic dictates, assuming that they go by the same logic, that Selena is a man turned woman. However, I really should write this down somewhere so I don't screw it up anymore, because I'm sure I will at some point. I do know that Selena's definitely under some threat from Setsuko at the moment. Bit of a Sylvia war about to happen. Not only are they all Japanese cars, there are a lot of them are older ones too. Not all of them, mind you. Like we got a 2012 RX-8 here with Hirata Tao, who's basically pushing Kane through turns 1 and 2. And the whole field is just kind of rubber banded here. Noriaki Nakazato is currently the leader, but not by a whole lot. It's very close between basically the whole top 10. Or top 9, not 10. Nico is 9. I don't know how to number. But we're all just in this big train of cars. Setsuko's gonna get herself into P6 over Kira Kishibe. Why do Nissans here? No, seriously, why are there so many freaking Nissans? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Half the field is fucking Nissan! Hello? We got two more trying to pass each other. Kuro down the inside of Takane. Presumably got ahead of Tao on the exit of the final turn. You know, there's the whole thing of I'm trying to be experimental and basically I'm chopping the races up to edit out the dull parts, but there really isn't been a down part here because this is such a compact track. And everybody just kind of nose to tail at this moment in time, but it's hard to really say that the action has completely died down at any point since we took the green flag. Now here comes Kuro, nearly running in the back of Tyler as we begin the penultimate lap of the race. Now to chase after Nakazato, which the way that this race has progressed as quickly as it has, something tells me that it ain't gonna take too long. Indeed, it really didn't take very long. It took all 20 seconds. Nakazato's wide into the penultimate turn, sweeps around the outside, the S14 moves into the race lead, and thus begins the final lap of the race. Let's see if Noriaki has anything in store for the S14, but it doesn't seem like it. Everybody is pretty much single file. We had those 4 cars with damage running in the back, 4 different Nissans. But as we head through the S's one last time, and then down the hill to complete the 8th and final lap from Suzuki East. Almost at Suzuki East. Tetsuko Kuro will win the C1 Racing Project's first Challenge Series race from Suzuka East. Noriaki takes second, and Timer McIntosh will round out the podium. Mao Zhongling grabs fourth in her first official Challenge Series race. I don't know, the CS Next races, those were like semi-official, but these are definitely these definitely count. I'd probably argue the other ones still do anyway, but that is besides the point. But anywho, on to round 4, I suppose. Well, yeah, we're trying to keep the pacing up here, trying to see how that works. Well, I was supposed to start this recording in the pre-race screen, but I guess we'll do it here. Round 4 of the episode will take us to Dragon Trail Seaside for 715 class racing. You can't really see it from here because the camera is stuck to the front of the grid, but the POV driver is Dante Wright in his airplane-themed C8 Corvette. C8 Corvette. Excuse me, that was not fun. Would not recommend. Would not do again. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. You know, I can get that out of the way before we even start the race. So let's start the race. And away we go from Dragon Trail. You can see the four-wheel drive privilege for Paul Valentine there. The Sam Squadron is in full effect for this race. I believe all 5 of their members are participating in this round, including Dante Wright himself. And it's been a good start for the C8 Corvette, up to looking like maybe 3 wide with Stotts and Parham. Up to contact with himself and Jeff Parham. And takes it to the grass because he's been forced down there by the R33 driver. Not ideal. Oh, contact being made between 2 teammates already. And more contact with another teammate in the form of David Danvers, and around goes the Corvette. You know, I begin to understand why their name is the Sam Squadron. Because skills certainly looked not mandatory there, I'm gonna be honest. Between Pugachev just diving on his teammate, and Dante just turning right in on top of David Danvers in the following turn. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of skills there. Eric Wojciechowski is currently your leader, and I'm not too far away, and neither is Stella St. Germain. Well, I wasn't too far away, but somebody ran into me, so that was fun. Wouldn't recommend. I don't even know who did it. I'm not gonna look back at the replay, just for my own sake. Who hit me? Oh. I was hit in... Stephanie was hit into me by her own teammate. I guess because Billy's gone, they gotta fill the clown quota somehow. In spite of being spun, Dante Wright doesn't have any damage to his car. So he's fine to keep on going. He's up to 14th just off of that fact alone. Wow, Dante just super pushed it through there. Jesus Christ. You won't catch me doing that, that's for sure. I sort of take some priority in not dying. 2 JSR cars versus 2 Sam Squadron cars as we head on to lap 3. Dante Wright will go down the inside of Fidel Fabian, make a little bit of contact on the way in. I think Fidel kind of turned in on Dante right there, but ultimately, Dante still grabbed the place anyway. Because of his meltdown on lap 1, Dante Wright definitely does not have enough time to get anywhere near the lead or even the top 5 for that matter. On the outside of his teammate, looking for more against Matthew Stotts. Gets rear-ended by Matthew Stotts. It doesn't stop him from making the corner as planned. Garrison, his teammate's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to also get the Supra of Matthew Stotts. And following his Corvette teammate through. Dante Wright continues to take more risks through there. Meanwhile, coming off of the harbor chicane, we got a battle for the lead going on. Two Fedonzi teammates, Fernando Fedonzi and Eric Wojciechowski. They were just running 1-2. But Fernando is not satisfied, and he makes a pretty simple move. I don't think Eric really fought that too hard. That's just kind of not how Scuderia Fedonzi does things. And, yeah, they've swapped positions. Ryan Wolf is lurking in the background. He's made his way up a few places along the way. As has Paul Valentine. He's really been a big mover. We're on the final lap now, and Dante Wright is into 9th place. He could probably get 8th on Jeff Parham, aka the person who is partially responsible for him being back there in the first place. Going through these 2 corners, in fact. That was the thing that happened. Garrison's still kind of behind Dante Wright, but not too closely. Up ahead, looks like Blackpool and St. Germain are getting pretty close, but I believe that's mostly settled already. Now, Dante had a run, but it was blocked as Parham takes the regular racing line sideways, but clear ahead of the R33 Skyline. But I think that'll be about as far as Dante Wright will be getting, with just a handful of turns to go. It has been a productive outing for the Scuderia. 1-2 finish. Will be led home by one Fernando Fedonzi. He's put his new MC20 right through its paces, and he will grab that illustrious checkered flag first here from Dragon Trail. His teammate Eric will follow him through for 2nd, and Ryan Wolf will grab 3rd place. Terrence Blackpool will out-drag the XJ220 for 4th place at the last moment, and Dante Wright will recover to 8th place in spite of lap 1 being an absolute disaster. Screwed it up again. But, at any rate, this still works all the same. The final round comes to us from, as you can clearly see, the Grand Valley Highway. Let me center it on the screen, just in case you can't read it. The roulette race, as you can tell by the fact that an ice cream truck and a 715 class car are in the same side of the grid. And there's also just a truck back there, I don't mind that too much. But, yeah. Grand Valley Highway. That's taking up my whole brain. Yep, Grand Valley Highway. Just start the racemaker. Grand Valley Highway, I mean, the roulette race. Go. Just go. My brain is not working. We are on board with Torque Maddox in his heavily modified 1969 Mustang. As he passes by an ice cream truck, as you do. In a similar vein to messing up the gender or sexual orientations of Selena Laurent and Skylar Aurora, this one's not on me because the leaderboard crew also fucked this one up too. Sung Jin Kyung is definitely not Chinese, he is from Korea. And that should have been obvious to me because this car is the most Korean thing to ever walk planet Earth. If it were white, I would have convinced it was on purpose. I would have been convinced it was on purpose. And to be honest, it still might be on purpose. Well, Torque's had quite a race start. He's already up to 4th place, looking for a bit more. We're not even all the way, we're barely halfway done with lap 1, Torque. Like, come on. I guess he is in the highest class in the race, since no 715 cars started the race. So really his only competition are Shiro Sasaki, right up here, is about to make a pass on Watanabe. And somewhere, oh yeah, there's Noah. That's his other opponent. Oh, and Ellie and her Porsche came in. Those are the 715 class and the sections. Okay, I'm just an idiot. Never mind. And Torque now into third, looking for second against basically his last real overtake he has to make. Stephanie's not in this class, and the overtake has been made. Shiro kind of thought about going back, but just the way that Torque takes that corner basically closed all opportunities to do that right out. Of course, Torque Maddox lives around here, as does Nolo, and he has raced many people on the Californian highways, so he is no stranger to this location. You could probably call it his home track, I suppose. He's certainly making it look like it is. As he takes the race lead about 2.5 minutes into this race. You should be seeing Sasaki make the same overtake here in a moment. You won't be overtaking much of anything, getting slides like that though. I say, as he proceeds to slide again. But he pulls over to the side, and he should be able to outdrag that Porsche with some ease, and that's exactly what he'll do. Nolo and Ellie working in tandem to both try and overtake Riho. Nolo's gonna do it, never mind. Riho's gonna go back down the inside of the 400Z. I was about to say 34Z. What is that, eh? However, they'll both get a better exit from the chicane, and away they go. Ellie's gonna look for more. She's gonna have a peek down the inside, but she's gonna do nothing with it. And that 400Z should easily be able to pull away from that Porsche down the front straightaway. John Garrison moves into second place in his class, overtaking Watanabe. She'll go back down the inside. Two of the newer... Oh dear God, Noah, where are you going? This came completely undone under braking, and he was a passenger. Whack! He does get back on the road and carry on, but that's going to definitely hinder his ability to compete near the front, or really at all. Well, Barber has had a race to forget. I imagine he probably got damaged along the way. Context clues tell me it was due to Setsuko. The only two cars back there, so they had to be the ones that collided. Yeah, the two new teams went at it there into turn one. Two of them anyway, Sam Squadron and Diamond Pleiades Technica. A big thing going into Season 3 here is a whole rework of the way that teams are dealt with in the Challenge Series. We're going to have actual Constructors' Championships and the actual Organized Championships now. And so that means that in order to actually run as a team in the Challenge Series, you need to have 3 drivers. The fact that this added importance was placed on this new team system has sort of caused a lot of people to sort of light a fire under their ass and get organized. I believe we have 20 teams now running in the Challenge Series, all of which have at least 3 drivers on them. And so championships from here on out will be dealt with as 18, okay. For a team to be counted in that Championships Constructors Championship, that sounds so redundant. That team has to have exactly 3 people racing on it. You can run in a championship and not be on a team, but obviously you won't be qualified for the Constructors Championship if you're not on one with 3 drivers on it in that race. Qualifications will work a little differently. We're not actually sure how we're going to handle that yet. We'll just kind of get there when we get there, I suppose. But one of the bigger teams, all of a sudden they really weren't very relevant before, but Team Scorchers, led by Taro Kitano, has had a huge uptick, even though David Danvers has vacated the team to join the Sam Squadron. Actually, we have to create the Sam Squadron, no less. Taro then saw fit to get off his behind and recruit some of the drivers that he is familiar with. So now the Scorchers is comprised of himself, as well as Burt Wheeler, Torque Maddox, Noah Pissarro, and the sort of unknown Rip Thompson, whom was not requested, but suggested to Taro by Danvers as he was taking his leave. So the Scorchers, in general, have gone from kind of a background team that a lot of people would routinely forget were even participating to a legitimate contender with 5 fast drivers, most of which are in this race, and some really good cars to go with it. And we're currently seeing that on full display as Torque Maddox is making an absolute freaking mockery of this one right here. Like, that is crazy. That's like... Well, that's 7-second lead. Ellie Ayase is finally making her way through the 675 car. She's gotten ahead of Yo, but she may have some struggles getting ahead of Garrison, as that Corvette, despite being in a lower category, is actually going to have a small power advantage over her Porsche. And apparently, so does Watanabe. Just because they're in different categories doesn't mean that they'll be easy to overtake. And for that matter, just because they're in a lower category doesn't mean that you can't pass the other car, which I think Yo's probably thinking about doing. It doesn't really matter if Mercury and the new Diamond Pleiades team are now in an alliance that was established pretty much at the last minute before Season 3 officially started. Racing is racing. And now the time has officially expired here, as Torque dipped some tires in the sand. So this will be the final lap for, well, some of the drivers, not all of them. I can confirm Jake Scarborough will win the 600 category, as all of those cars have already crossed the line, but the rest of the classes are yet to be decided. There is still a battle for the win in the 640 class going between Burt Wheeler and Keith Kilgore, and there's still a possibility that the 675 class lead can change hands as Garrison is quickly catching up to Stephanie Kaiser. There aren't many corners left to go, but you don't need too many. However, what Garrison does need is to not be overtaken by Ellie. That's not helping him. And with an absolutely massive margin of victory, here comes Torque Maddox to grab a statement Grand Valley Highway 1 victory. Torque Maddox wins by nearly 11 seconds over Shiro Sasaki. Stephanie Kaiser will be able to barely hang on to her class lead. That might have been in jeopardy if the race went a little longer. And the 640 class win will go to Keith Kilgore in the 69 Camaro. That'll do it for this rather experimental episode 97. Remains to be seen how that goes in editing, just how well that this new methodology will work. Could I have said it any more robotic as I said that way? But yeah, basically experimenting with maybe a bit of a faster paced episode with a little more jump cuts to eliminate the downtime in races, just to see how things play out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll go back to a more almost racing podcast style of thing, more akin to regular broadcasts that you'd see in like real life motorsports. But with that all said, 97 in the books. Goodbye.